Yeah, I'm doing a quick chat. I just realized I pressed it with the TV still talking. What was I going to say? Oh, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast thingy with Chad Stahelski. I know. But here's what had happened. I was on YouTube and the shit pops up. There was a clip because I actually do. I am subscribed to the Joe Rogan podcast clips that they have on YouTube. So it popped up. I'm like, wow, he was on that. Okay, I should listen to the whole thing. So I was in the store and I was listening to it as I was going around the store. And I'm not completely finished. I'm not a podcast listener. Anyway, so I was in the store and I saw the Blu-ray of John Wick 4 and I'm like, it's out? Because I was thinking it was next week. And I'm standing there and I'm like, are you buying this? Do you want to buy this? I mean, luckily I didn't have the money because I've been only bringing actual money with me and not using, debit card situation. So I was like, okay, it's a damn good thing you don't have the money because you don't even like this movie, so you're not buying it. But I didn't think it was supposed to be out. Anyway, so I'm listening to it just now and I couldn't help cracking up laughing because the Joe Rogan thing, I'm not a podcast listener because I don't have that kind of brain time. I mean, everybody has time. I don't have any moments. I feel like every single minute is taken with nonsense and I have no actual time. But of course, everybody has time. I don't have brain time and I haven't for a long time. I think the last time I listened to podcasts was way long time ago when I would listen to them on my desktop and it was like Russell Brand's podcast. And this is before, I don't know how long ago this is. Wait a minute, I know how long ago it is because my uncle died. One day I was walking home, me and my mom went out and we came back in the house and I went to go listen to the Russell Brand podcast and my aunt called screaming. Anyway, so that was like 2008. That's how long ago it was that I used to listen to podcasts. I listened to him and Ricky Gervais until I decided Ricky Gervais was too mean to that old man. And I was like, oh, he really isn't acting on The Office. He's like that. So, anyway, so yeah, I don't listen to podcasts. I feel like it's for people who drive and people who like have a job where the radio's on. And I only had that once in my life years ago, many moons ago when I was a receptionist. Otherwise, the other jobs I had, still office jobs, radio was not on. So, if you're in a situation where back in the olden times where I come from, you would have had the radio on, then I think those are the people who listen to podcasts. I can't remember the last time I had the radio on. Years ago, we used to not want the TV to blow up if there was thunder and lightning, so that's when we used to put the radio on. I know I'm laughing. Watch my TV blow up next time it thunders and lightning. But yeah, so we'd shut everything off. So, but we didn't have a car. So when I hear the radio now, it's because I'm in McDonald's or I'm in Dunkin'. That's why I don't know new music. I only find out who people are if they come on like a Grammy Awards or something. I don't know the new music for that reason because I don't listen to the radio. So I like seeing his clips, and so when the clips come on YouTube, I watch the Joe Rogan stuff, and I know he's into a lot of the, he has that Graham guy on. I don't like the Graham guy, but I like the Ancient Alien stuff, and so I'm interested in a lot of the topics that he's interested in and stuff, so I'm listening to him talk to Chad, and he finally gets to, I was like, I knew he was going to get to the Matrix at some point, so it made me laugh, but yeah, I don't know why the Blu-ray was in the store because I thought it was coming out next week. I'm not buying it. And here's the thing, Redbox. I looked up Redbox. It doesn't look like it's in Redbox, so maybe I'll never watch it again. But I intended to watch it. I think I'm over the initial haterade of it, and I think I understand the situation. I think I'm over the whole being wrong thing. So I just don't care anymore. So it's okay. But what was he talking about? Oh, there was something they were talking about. they were talking about AI and all this stuff, and then at one point he was talking about next beings and stuff, and I was like, that to me is from the movie AI. If you remember the movie AI, spoilers for the movie AI, which I loved. Haley Joel Osment, remember? So it gets to like, it keeps going, and then there's the whole thing, and then like a lot of people, I loved that movie. A lot of people didn't like it for some reason. I don't know why. But then like the beings that he was like talking about, like Leif or whatever, in this podcast, I was like, this is the interesting part of this interview. But in AI the movie, that's who I thought came. Like people were like, oh, it's really future AI. I'm like, no. So, and like Prometheus and things like that, these movies where it's like I don't like Prometheus, but the ideas, and I sometimes think these movies get messed up or they get weird because they can't really do the powers that be, you know, them, Whitey, the establishment. They come and they won't allow for things to happen. Speaking of the establishment, air quality alert, I had on a mask today. You know how anti-mask I am? They're trying to kill us, and I think it's inner earth beings. I don't think it's yeah, in that podcast Chad got real quiet when Joe started talking about the Manson family and stuff. It's so funny. He just gets stuck on that. But yeah, like I said before, Dutch sense. That's how I'm saying it. I don't even know how you're supposed to spell it. I know how to spell it. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it. DUTCHSINSE. I've been watching him for a long time. He was pointing out these fires in Canada from the beginning before you started here. So it's really weird because all the earth stuff and earthquakes and all the kind of stuff going on. And people just accepted it's forest fires. So they accepted it, and it's like, how is it breaking out all across Canada? You know, so I'm saying all the shit that's been going on, all the earthquakes, all this stuff, there's a lot of business. You know, remember the train derailments? So, he said, don't put on candles. I'm always going to put on candles. You crazy? I was putting on the paper mask. I'm like, paper mask probably isn't good enough. I should go back to my bandana. I'm going to look like a bandit again. But, yeah. I don't think it's an accident. Yes, I've always been like this. Yes, I'm one of those crazy people, but we're not so crazy no more. But, yes, I gotta finish listening to this podcast. It was good, though. I'm sick of hearing the same stories all the time, though. So it's good that they went on a different topic, but, what did he say something? Oh, here's the interesting thing. So, about the Hagakure, because I'm trying to read it. And I'm kind of laughing at it, because honestly, yeah, samurai seem cool and everything. But I remember just at one point deciding, I think it was when I watched 47 Ronin, and I saw all those white outfits, and I'm like, all the blood stains that are going to end up on those outfits, this is so dumb. You know, forget the loss of life. The blood stains on those perfectly white, anyway, not worth it. So I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of dumb. You know, because just like I said years ago when I was young, I wanted to be a spy from watching James Bond movies, and then I watched The Femme Nikita, and I'm like, oh, forget it. And to become sort of an anti-government person in my old age, could you imagine if I became used as a agent to just do stupid government bidding? It just used up. That's why they get people who are already kind of used up or unwanted, like Black Widow. Remember? Did you watch I liked Black Widow, but whatever. Again, I like the movies for other reasons that other people like the movies. But yeah, so they brought up, they were talking about Buster Keaton. I'm not a big fan of those movies. I like the silent movies where they're all lit. And, you know, German. Or Fritz Lang. But, or The Man Who Laughs, stuff like that. But, he was talking about, they were, how did he do that? How did he do that? And I'm sitting there, I'm going, both these guys have the information, because that Hagakure book is basically, you know, anybody knows that you gotta be prepared for death. And if you're a samurai, you're supposed to be like raring to go to death. And what the fuck was the thing I was thinking of? Oh, for me personally, as a huge fan of Jesus Christ Superstar, I always took Andrew Lloyd Webber's interpretations and lyrics as part of my spiritual development, more so than the Bible stuff. So like I said, Yoda, Jesus Christ Superstar, the Rocky movies, this is how I developed my philosophy. But one of the lyrics is, to conquer death you only have to die, right? This is the thing. So I talk about, if I say, oh man, why am I not dead? Or I say I love the little blue nihilist star from Super Mario Brothers, people are like, what do you do? You know, I actually, when I was going to a therapist, she said something about me being obsessed with death. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not obsessed with death. I just, you know, I'm not afraid of it. Most people are scared to death of death. But the point is, I mean, this is an eventuality. That's why, like I was saying, when they're always making people afraid of their risks, yeah, we're all 100% at risk of dying because it's going to happen. So the people who talk about it, it's like there's something wrong. You also city slickers, you know. I'm just spitballing there, but they're talking about Buster Keaton, and I'm like, hello, how did he do it? Because he wasn't scared to die. That's how he did it. And also, because Haka Curry, right? So Joe Rogan, I'm like, plus also, if not that, if you watch this ancient alien stuff, how did they make the pyramids? Hello? There's all kinds of weird shit. You think it too practically. You got people over here, they end up in a philosophical discussion. But thinking about Buster Keaton doing they're thinking too practically. It's like, no, Nikola Tesla, think. So funny. But yeah, I'm gonna finish watching this. Listening. Oh, was I wrong? Because I swear I looked up the release date and it said June 13th. And I'm standing in the store, not saying which store, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think it was the idea that I thought it wasn't supposed to be there. And this is my old, I was never really a collector, but being in that online kind of community of people who were always collecting things and stuff like that, I think that kicked in. It's like, is it supposed to be here? I guess it came out today. I just thought it was the 13th. But so yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm listening. As I'm listening to them talk, I'm seeing it and I'm thinking I'm hallucinating. I'm like, wait, what? My eyeballs. But yeah, that's why I like Joe Rogan. He's just like, you know. But I don't like the Graham guy from Ancient Aliens. I don't know why. There were some guys I liked. I saw them on the first couple seasons. I got a couple that I'm supposed to be watching. But my brain is just overtaken with bad things and low vibrational situations that I'm in right now. And I know it, and I just don't know how to get around it. And I'm just like, I don't understand. I spend so much time trying to be high vibrational. I know people think I'm mean and rotten because I say things I shouldn't say, but to me, I'm sorry, being honest, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just feel like that's better than saying nice things or keeping my mouth shut. But telekinesis, Jedi shit. So yeah, let me listen to the rest of this. I did a rewatch. I did a reaction review of The Samurai, and it didn't, halfway through, because I had to pause a couple times. Not pause, I had to stop and start over. A whole bunch of it, the audio got messed up. I was still going to post it. I didn't, though. I mean, I actually watched it, like, the weekend before last. That guy is not hot. That Alain Delon, whatever. I don't know why I can't say it. I literally do Duolingo all the time. I switch back and forth. I'm not... because I'm scatterbrained, I get bored. So, like, I've been sticking with Italian for right now. They just saw it on the Today Show this morning. I wasn't really paying attention to that. I think they went to Paris, because wouldn't it be nice to go? Because the Olympics are going to be split, right? Are we even going to get to the Olympics? See, I forgot. Before, the last 3 months have been, my brain has been where it's never been. It's been thinking practically, which I don't do. And it's really taken me out of my center. And like Monday, I forgot to do something that I do all the time that's important. I just forgot because my mind's so overwhelmed with this low vibrational shit, and I can't believe it's that bad, because I thought I could finagle it, but it really just swamps you. And I don't understand how I ended up in this life that I have. Because if it's karma or like attracting like or whatever, I literally leave people alone. I just don't do any, you know what I mean? I don't bother people. I don't know. And I know about all the stuff, because like I said, I watch these videos all the time, and it's just, I feel like, why am I, because it's like the nothing. It's not like the nothing. This is more like, again, Jesus Christ Superstar, where the lepers are grabbing him. I feel like I'm surrounded by lepers. No, it just feels like you're being pulled under. You know, when you're trying to not drown, and you're being pulled under into a negative flow of energy. And it's like, I can't heal these people. I watch all these videos, you know, for the entertainment value, but tarot card readers are always saying I'm a healer and a leader, and I'm like, bullshit, I hate people. I don't want to heal anybody. Get them the fuck off me. But yeah, the ones I pick anyway, because I will sometimes listen to all the different choices, and I just always happen to pick the one that says I'm awesome and I'm a healer. But I think that's why I end up around energy vampires, and I do everything I can, and then they suck the life out of me, and then I end up in the bottom. And it's like, why does the universe keep putting me in situations where I'm going to be, you know, vampire food? You know, it's not fair. You know, at least I should be compensated, so I don't have to try hard and knock myself out physically to just survive. You know, I don't know. I put the universe on notice, because it's very strange. But yeah, I meant to watch John before. Now I'm so confused. If I'll be able to. If I don't buy it. Back in the day, not back in the day is 2019. So everything before the pandemic is back in the day now. So back in the day, like back in the day, in the early 2000s, I was, not every Tuesday, but I would be at, what the fuck's the name of the store, the blue one, Best Buy. I'd be there getting the collector's edition or whatever first thing, and when they opened the door and they were doing their chant, I would be there waiting for stuff. But no, like, up once I stopped having enough finances and I had to be choosy, generally speaking, I would buy my favorite couple 2-3 movies of the year. So like right sitting over there, I got Rocket Man and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you know, the Avengers, the Infinity War and Endgame. But not a lot. What else is over there? Glass, I think. Yeah, so that stuff. But I would buy like a handful a year, but I didn't buy things all the time. So it's not a diss. I'm not buying it. It's just I don't want to buy it. But I didn't buy the other ones. As much as I like 3, I didn't buy it. I really want to see behind the scenes, though. I want to see what happened. And he was talking about all this stuff, and I'm like, fine, whatever. Like I said, I'm over it. But yeah, the alien tech is how Buster Keaton did his stunts. Let me see if I'm gonna listen to the rest of this. But yeah, I'm still listening to this. I just said killer whales erupting. All the eruptions. Do you understand what I'm saying? Inner Earth beings are bubbling shit. Go to DuckDuckGo. I only use Google. I only use DuckDuckGo. So speaking of Google and copyright and all this shit, okay, YouTube. Like, I make my stupid videos. I don't want anybody sampling it. So it used to say, there used to be a box to check if you didn't want people to sample your stuff. Now they've changed the way they say it. Like, I forgot, but I was like, I didn't see the box anymore. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Wait a minute. It's so funny whenever I hear these people who make all these great things. Like, they're comedian, they're director, you know, talking about not having. I've always been an idea person. I just can't sit down and write things. That's why I never wrote anything, or I'm not an artist or anything, because I just can't do anything. I mean, I was an idea person. My brain doesn't work anymore, but ideas, that's always been easy. I mean, in the beginning of my videos, I thought the world was ending. I thought I was at least going to die, but the rich people were going to survive. So I was telling everybody what to make movies out of. Like, who to put in musicals and what I want to see in musicals and stuff like that. Because it's not just ideas. It's just you gather the information and I don't know. And I know the Inner Earth thing was right because I thought Inner Earth people all this time. And then Greg Braden posted an Inner Earth thing yesterday after all this stuff, and I was like, see, I'm not the only person thinking it. I never wanted to put anything in the cloud. I have some things in Google Docs only from the last year because I had to share it. But yeah, I didn't put my stuff in the cloud. Oh shit, he brought up Highlander. I thought we were done with that. I thought it wasn't happening. I really gave up. Because I've been watching the videos, yeah, because I watched the, interviews he does, and there's always like, I don't think it's the same person, but there's always somebody in the comments who's like, what about Highlander? Because that's why I thought I was going to be a fan, because I had been a Henry Cavill fan. I don't know what made me, I think it was seeing him spin around in The Witcher. I was like, with the long hair. And I was like, hey, Highlander. He should be in Highlander. I looked it up on the IMDb. Or I looked up something. Yeah, and then it said there was a new one, like they were going to do a remake. I feel like I knew that before, though. I feel like they talked about a remake years ago. Like years ago, back in the aughts, back in the day. But then when I looked it up at that point, when I was a fan of Cavill, it said that this one was attached to, like, and I was like, really? So then I looked and I was like, oh yeah. He was supposed to be developing one. So I was like, then at some point later on, he said he was talking to Henry Cavill. I'm like, exactly. And then, you know, these last 3 years, been a bunch of bullshit. Everybody's weird now. And we're all different people than we were when we went into the pandemic. I don't like who I am now. I haven't liked myself for a while. I liked who I was back in the old century. That's why I don't even like me in this century. But yeah, so I thought they were done with that. But there's somebody every time there's a video with to kind of interview or something, there's somebody in the bottom, what about Highlander? Because that's what I figured. So I liked Parabellum. I was like, oh, if he's gonna do a Highlander with Henry Cavill, that'll be really cool. And like I said, he seemed like a cool guy in his interview, so I was like, oh, I could be a fan of this guy. And then I hated 4. But he still seems like a cool guy. I think like I'm done being mad that half the movie sucked. But there was a couple other things that ticked me off too. There was a video where fans had theories, and he like laughed at one, and I was like, what a douchebag. So that's when I started to be like, maybe he's not a nice man. And remember, I like villains, so it's not necessarily about trying to look at the news. It's not necessarily about being nice. It's just, as a fan, I get mad when fans are pooped on. That's why I stopped being a fan of Mr. Cavill. But yeah, so he did mention Highlander. Let's see. Let me finish. So yeah, about these particulates. Because I went outside. I mean, it's been a week of this fire dust business. And it's... If you saw it happening, if you saw it as it was progressing, because like I said, I subscribed to Dutch Sense, and he said, "Oh, look, there's some." I almost did an impression of him. He's got a really nice, like, DJ type voice. He noticed some. I think it was all the way on the West Coast, like maybe over. I don't know the provinces, but you know, Vancouver up there, British Columbia is at it. I think it started there, and it almost was like it was coming across, and then it was Nova Scotia when it started to come down on us. And the other day, this happened. 2 days ago, I was leaving the house, going down the stairs. My stairs are wood. They're not painted. I almost slipped. It had been like, it wasn't raining hard. It had been like drizzly, like heavy drizzle or whatever. And I slipped like as if there was ice. And I'm like, this wasn't ice. And I looked back at it. And then I was trying to, you know how you scuff your foot to see if you're slipping. Then I remember. I wasn't thinking of it. I was like, wait a minute. But this isn't train derailment. Because when the train derailments happened a while back, and they were doing the toxic fumes, right? At the time, I didn't know about the train derailment yet. I came down my stairs on the sidewalk. It had been rain, but you know when in the street, like if the gas leaks, you know, the car is dripping, you know, oil or gas or whatever, and it makes, like in the rain, makes like those, you know, what do you call it? Those water bubbles that are like just with oil. It looks like that, right? It bubbles up. So it looked like this on the sidewalk. And I'm saying to myself at the time, did somebody like spill like oil or something on the sidewalk in front of my house? Thinking, okay, somebody spilled something, right? I guess, I don't know. Not thinking that it's freaking acid rain or toxic rain or, you know, whatever the hell the train derailment shit was. I went the same day I had gone to the grocery store. I was waiting for the bus. And I'm standing there. And then I looked where I was standing, same thing. This is like a mile and a half away from my house. Same thing. There was those greasy water bubbles on the sidewalk the same day. And it had rained overnight. And like a couple days later, I thought about it. I was like, the train derailment had happened already. So it was like, at that point, I wasn't going to drink tap water. I wasn't going to drink any kind of spring water, you know. But luckily, I already don't really drink tap. I mean, obviously, if I go to a restaurant, if I get fountain soda, yeah, which I do all the time. But for me, myself, I honestly drink distilled water. Or I get, if I get some kind of bottled water, it's from somewhere else, or it's like reverse osmosis water, something to the point where it's supposed to be. I don't like water anyway, but if I'm gonna have to drink it to try to be healthy, it's gonna be. So when I make my tea, I have distilled water. I pour distilled water in my teapot. And I of course, again, if I cook, which I don't cook, if I cook, I will, I do still use sink water, but for the train derailment time, I was using, I figured the Poland Springs on the on the shelf wasn't contaminated yet, right? So I used that to, you know, cook spaghetti or whatever. But I don't really cook anyways. But yeah, so this, whatever this is, if it's just ash and stuff, it wouldn't make the ground slippery. Something made the rain slippery the other day. And I saw it wasn't just here, so I saw something else later on that I touched something or there was like a greasiness to the water that had come from the sky a couple days ago. So if it's just forest fires, because they haven't said what the fires are, have they? And like I said, there were fires that popped up in New Jersey, and yeah, forest fires happen. There's dry times where there's no rain, and for a week or so, and you know, there's brush, and somebody throws a cigarette. That happens. However, doesn't always have to be innocent situation. So I talked enough. I said enough crazy things. I'm not insane. I'm losing my mind a little bit, and it worries me, and I'm at a certain crossroads that I don't even understand, and I don't know what to do, because I thought I was coming to a good spot, but now I'm just like, I'm in a spot where I just don't even know right now. And it's like, I can't believe how different my situation is, at least in my head, because it could be the same situation, but different than it was. Like, I'm not the same person as I was in February, and neither is my situation as far as I can tell. And to you, I look the same, right? To me, I look the same too. But it's a weird life, and I'm not spiritually who I was in February, because now I've been doing too many practical things, been around too many low vibrational root chakra types, more along on the beast end of people than the angel end of people, and it's affecting me, and I don't know how to. It's like I'm I wonder how bad I'm gonna get or how long I can do this, because I'm just trying to survive, as they say, by being practical. And it's making me lose my normal centeredness that I've always had, because I've had to move down the chakras, and I've always been up here, and it's deteriorating me, I believe. So